Dave,
John,
Shane,
Chad,
these sci-fi guys.
I keep clicking the wrong stuff. There we go. Back to what we're supposed to be. Oh, and I still have everyone muted, don't I? Let me unmute everybody because the intro music was on. Okay, everyone say hi.
hello, everybody.
Hello there.
Hola.
Oh,
Nava.
okay. John's
Nava.
got to go ahead and be. In case you've been watching for the last couple of weeks, John hasn't been here with us. And
Sí, verdad.
why is that, John?
Lo siento, mi
Do you not
amigos.
care?
Well,
I
There's-
care about job number 2, which takes some prevalence over the summer.
Yeah, we don't get paid for this.
For real.
well, as you guys can see, we allowed him back on the trial.
Yeah, we did not vote him off.
yeah, it's shocking.
If you guys didn't notice at the beginning of I don't know if it popped up at the beginning or not, but we are watching the movie 2010, the year we make contact, direct sequel to the famous 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Just 10 years later.
And, yeah, it's like 30. Was it 30 years later? I don't remember. I got it here in my notes here. Let me. Oh, stop.
No, we're not
Here it
gonna
is right
stop.
here. Boom. Okay. 2010 follows a joint American and Soviet crew that is sent to Jupiter to discover the reason behind the failure of the Discovery 1 mission. That's pretty much the whole movie. I mean,
You're not wrong.
yeah.
Sorry,
and,
Dave.
and
We can't do that.
I was going to say, yeah, amongst the mysteries of the expedition must explain are the appearance of the huge black monolith in Jupiter's orbit, the fate of Hal, the Discovery's AI computer, and all the other stuff that went on in this movie. It was a trippy movie. I don't know. What did you guys just think overall? I could tell you, I've seen enough Roy Schreider. Schneider. I can't say his name. Anyway, you know, he was on Sequest, and I was like, at the beginning of this movie, I was like, oh gosh, this is Sequest 2.0. Okay, it's Jaws 2.0. You know, because he was in Jaws, and I was like, he had to have dolphins that come and swim up into his house. You know, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit. His wife's a botanist or marine biologist or something. I don't remember exactly. Marine biologist, yeah, that's what it was. And it was a little slow opening, but once it got going, I thought it was pretty decent. What'd you guys think?
I was going to say this one was at least easier to follow than the prequel, which, I mean, in fairness, the prequel is like ages ahead of its time, and it really kind of set the bar for sci-fi later. So I think it's fair if it was a little convoluted, just because of its place in cinematic history. The story got a little lost, but in this one, I mean, honestly, the humor I was with, the overall story, I was with a little bit more. I liked that it gave a little bit more backdrop to some of the, I guess, finer details of 2001. I do think, you know, they missed the bar a little bit on how quickly they think we were going to evolve, which I guess technically the monolith would help with that. Spoiler. But like at the same time, 9 years, I mean, you know, I don't know. That I just feel like the movie advanced us really far and thought we were going to be a lot further along than we were in both 2001 and 2010. But honestly, no, it was an enjoyable movie to me, particularly, again, the humor and an actually followable storyline for me.
Yeah, I mean, this was done what was it? It was based 1980, or when it was recorded, 1984, 1983, somewhere in there. Yeah.
84.
So, yeah, a lot. I like the fact is they used a lot of real world stuff. You know, I mean, this was in the middle of the Cold War in the 80s. You know, so they were using a lot of that as the backdrop of the tensions between the Soviets at the time, Russia was part of the Soviet Union, and America. So it was pretty unheard of to have all of them go on a spaceship together to figure out what was going on, because the Russians already said, "Hey, we're going." It would just be easier if you guys went with us, so because you know what's going on, because our ship is ready. Your ship will take a while to get there, or to be built or whatever, So, I missed Hal. I missed the old Hal. I thought that it was they dumbed it down a lot for him. I thought that there should have been something nefarious in the system or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was nefarious.
Because he couldn't the two programs that he had, or the two languages or whatever, they were conflicting each other. The commands, that's what it was. Was okay. Go find out what this thing is, and secondary do this. And then that secondary became the primary, and then so. Yeah, it just kind of got convoluted a little bit. The original movie did, but there's no mistaking that the first movie set up science fiction, and the model making. Oh gosh, the model making was so good in the first movie. This movie, I thought, didn't do as well. I really missed out on. I thought the details, especially the Russian craft, I thought could have been done so much better, and I just missed I miss good quality model making. I really do. So few movies do it well. Of course, in the 60s, that's all they had. So
both statements are true, though. I think we could still deal with better model making as a whole, even now. But when it's all you had to be really good at it. So, there's a toss up there.
That's true.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the story? I mean, obviously, those of you out there that are watching this, that we're going to tell spoilers about every movie that we do. I should just put that in the description block of all of them. Spoilers ahead. I mean, we haven't had anyone complain about them, but I mean, if you're going to watch a movie about us talking about a movie, most of these movies are older too. So you should have seen it by now. Although I never saw this movie until we saw it this time. I mean, I want to go back. I think, none of us, every one of us said none of us have seen this movie before on this one. I knew it was around. I just never had the chance and the opportunity to watch it. So I just thought the premise was pretty good, and it did give us some good answers overall.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Sort of. Although I kept asking, I even Googled afterwards. I said, "Is there a third movie?" Apparently, there is a third and fourth book, but they're pretty bad. From what I was reading on Reddit and some other places, they were like, "Yeah, you wouldn't want those into a movie because the books weren't great." So I don't know. Any of you guys have ever read any of these series, these books at all?
Not these.
Yeah, I'm a big I love reading science fiction novels and stuff, but the ones that turn into movies, I typically don't, because I don't want to mess the movie up. Because I always hear that books are better than movies, So
almost all the time.
Almost always books are better than movies, because you can do so much more. You can get what they're thinking and all that. And in movies, you really can. It's just acting. So,
I mean, with a book, you have unlimited pages if you really want to do it. And if nothing else, you make a series. But in a movie, you're really limited, like max 3 hours anymore. And that's pushing it. Because now really you're probably at a max of about 2, because most audiences aren't not going to sit longer than that. So it limits you for sure.
Yeah.
What? No more long run of the Hobbits extended series and Lord of the Rings and
no more.
No, I don't think so.
Watch the whole.
I would not want to read all those books too, because they're so long.
They're so good.
They're so good.
Okay, you all say they're good.
They are.
I'm not a big fantasy guy. I mean, I like them. I mean, we're going to be doing one later on this year, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. to me, I didn't. It doesn't thrill me. Let's put it that way. I mean, I would
I get
rather
that.
watch big honking monsters or great real science fiction. To me, I mean, I want to see something like. No, I'm not going to go there because I'm not about to say Buckaroo Banzai was as good as
Oh Lord.
as Tolkien, and because he's not. Tolkien had a much better has much better characters and everything. So
He does?
Storytelling.
yeah. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to add on this? This is. I mean, we've kind of blitzed through this. I mean, what did you guys like about the movie, or what you didn't like? Somebody throw something else in there besides me. It seems like I'm talking a lot. So
I enjoyed how they contrasted a little bit of the music from the 2001 Space Odyssey to this one, because it was very similar when you start off at the very beginning with the theme of Richard Strauss's also Sprach Zarathustra, that big opening theme, that they definitely had in common. But the composer, I'm trying to remember his name. Sorry, I've got my notes here. David Shire. Did a really good job with this movie, but I
thought
really
the
did try to
music
go-
was good, but it wasn't iconic like the first
No.
one was.
No, this
Truth.
was more trying to get more of that futuristic kind of space feel to it. So it was a lot of synthesizers, things like that. While 2001, of course, was totally different from it. But I think you got to credit him a little bit for not going down the same road and trying to make it a little bit different. But I love that it started off with that iconic theme to really tie them together.
Yeah, I like that part of it. I mean, because I remember when we did 2001, we all loved the music, but it was so misplaced on the where it was in the movie.
Yeah.
It didn't quite, like the spaceship is just flying along, and then you're getting that, this big, massive orchestra, and it's like this doesn't go together. I mean, when you saw the monolith for the first time, and then you get, got that dun 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 dun, that made sense, But then, and how they ended this one, I really like how they ended it. They kind of went back to that same theme where they were on the planet. There was the monolith there, and then you just got that music where they were like, okay, let me just jump. Let me ask you that. What'd y'all think of that ending? Did you guys like it? Did you think it was, where it just kind of came up on the screen? Hey, don't go to Europia. You can go anywhere else. They're all your planets. This is ours.
I do like that. I think it gives a little bit more life to our, I guess, the monolith itself, if you want to call it a sentient being. Like, I like that it gives it a little more life. I don't necessarily mind that we ended it that way, because we had at least resolved the story. And I think it did set up what it would appear to be a third story that I feel like they just never kind of went back on, because if the book stank, I mean, it makes sense. But even so, it's kind of surprising they didn't, another 30 years later and like, all right, now it's 2035. I don't know, but overall, I don't mind it. There's been worse endings to movies we've watched. I wouldn't call it the best. Like, we definitely could have ran another 20 minutes just kind of explaining the details of what happens next. But just this be at peace, I think, in a world that was dying for that at the time, like you said, with the Cold War, I think that's fair. I don't necessarily mind it.
Yeah, I mean, and the actor Dave, I mean, did he like not age at all at first? When you first saw him,
Yeah.
at first I was like, did they CGI him in there in 1984? And then those old people were, when he was in these other, when he was old and all that, was that really what he looked like? I just think he just didn't age. I don't think he aged very much, and plus with all the makeup and everything, they were able to make him look like he did in the first movie. Yeah. I was confused on some of that when he went back to see his ex-wife or wife, and she went on and got married, and then she died, and the brush was was that Dave brushing her hair at the end, that looked like a ghost was brushing it or something. I mean, like I said, there was some parts on there that I'm assuming that was him, and because he even says, hey, yeah, things are coming, but it's something wonderful, and really wasn't very wonderful to me. I mean, it was like maybe for them where there were just it was a new species being evolved. It's kind of what I got out of it. And so, yeah, well, I guess we're at the point of the show where let's go ahead and rate this. In this part of the show, we're going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. I picked this movie, didn't I? And my keyboard is
You did.
not working. Yes, I did. There we go. I'll go ahead and just jump right here. I'm comparing a lot of this movie back to the original movie, and comparing it to some of the other ones we've seen. I thought for a change, we actually had a decent story from beginning to end. I like that. I mean, because we're like, okay, what happened to the Discovery, and then you had the guy who I guess invented the whole program or was in charge of the whole program, to go back and figure out what was going on with an engineer. I didn't like how they killed the one guy off, though, that the Russian guy. I liked him a lot. I've seen him in so many things. He always plays a Russian, it seems like. he was big in the 80s as being a Russian, a comedic Russian. He was always a comedic guy. And to see John Cleese not in a funny role, I thought was actually refreshing. I really kind of liked. Was it John? Yeah, it was John Cleese. Wasn't it John Cleese? Oh my gosh! Now I'm IMDb.
Good, Dave.
The friend of the pod, IMDb.
IMDb 2010, the year we make contact. Nope, go back. Clicked on the wrong button. That's monsters. Here we go. Cast. Here we go. Click. John Lithgow. That's it. Not. Yeah. Well, and what else did we see John Lithgow in? I just mentioned the name of it earlier. Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I had to see his face. All right. Forgive me.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I thought the interaction between him and the cosmonaut was really good, and I do like that they gave us an ending. Hey, leave us alone. Let us be here. Not all movies have to have everything tied up in a bow. I'm going to go back to Solo, for example. We haven't seen Solo here yet, but almost the entire movie of Solo is telling how Han Solo got his name and how Han Solo got the blood stripe on his pants and how he got the Millennium Falcon from Lando in a gambling game. And we don't necessarily need to know how things happen. We just need to know that it happened. Okay, hey, he got this. Boom, let's go on with life. And I think this movie was a good case of that, where it's leave us alone. You guys need to live in peace, and so be it. You live with your lives, we'll live with ours, and hey, we're going to tell you to get out of here just because otherwise you're going to get wiped out. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a solid. Let me go back to my ratings here. Ooh, ew, boy. All right. Yeah, was it as good as Batman? Obviously not. Was it? What did I give? I gave Predator Badlands a 3. I'm kind of debating about 3.5, because also I think I gave The Voyage Home, Star Trek, a 3, and I think I would rather watch this than Star Trek The Voyage Home. So I'm going to give it a 3.5, actually.
Hey, there you go.
So Shane, why don't you give us what you got?
Well, I'm kind of along those same lines. I was looking back at some of the previous ratings I gave, and I agree that I don't think it matches up when you think about like a Batman or something like that. I would probably say I think it's a good movie. I don't necessarily think it is great. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I think there'd be some things that I would catch that I didn't necessarily the first time. You definitely can't rate it near what the original was, obviously, because it's just iconic, and this is not nearly on the same level. So I'm actually going to go at an even 3.
Even 3. All right. John, what about you?
All right, see, this is even watching the last 2 weeks, even if I wasn't here, going back and rating those actually made this one more difficult for me, because originally I was going to rate Mando a 3.5. But then comparing it to this movie, I'm like, well, I liked Mando more, so I had to bump Mando up to a 4. Signs was just a 2 for me. But even looking at this movie by itself this week, it's at least on par for me with some of the others we've watched that would be at the level I want to rate it at. I'm rating it at a 3.5 because honestly, it was generally entertaining. I kept up with the story. It's just a solid all-around space sci-fi film. Nothing crazy. They even kept, what I know about space science correct. So it was really entertaining. It was a little higher than some of the 3s I gave this year, and a little lower than some of the 4s. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Chad, how about you?
For what I watched and try to follow along with, I kind of agree with David and John here. I'm going to go with 3.5 because it kind of kept the smooth storyline going, and the music kind of filled in, kind of fixed it. So.
I put Monolith as the villain.
It's not really a villain. That's fair.
The statue is the villain. Hey, hell.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Sorry, Dave. Can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that, Dave. All right. I'm trying to get the questions here. That's what I meant to get up there. Boom. Okay. What moral or ethical questions does the film raise about creation, life, or destiny?
Creation, life, or destiny? No, we just have to stare at each other, Dave.
No, we're not going to do that because we are on audio too. So all 13 subscribers are.
Yeah, I think it really does raise a question of who's ultimately in control and how much outside influence might have over humanity as a whole. I think that really is the driving theme here, which I think we can relate to from our understanding of a creator. But even so, just this outside force interacting with, the apes at an early standpoint, and then with humans in the first, just the idea that outside things could influence us, I think is a major theme that fits this idea of, destiny. And not so much, and this is the part I like about this theme, is it's not so much the direct influence I am changing it from the monolith so much as the what I mean is it's not a dictator, if you will. It's not saying I'm in control, you must follow this. It is here's a nudge, follow that direction and grow better than you would have to begin with. And again, I think that's something we can relate to from our worldview. And so overall, I like the idea that it hit on the influence, like an outside influence growing them as humanity. But again, you get into some other issues when you come into other parts of the film. But for that question itself, I like that idea of outside influence leading to growth.
Yeah, see, I would go ahead and talk about, because one of the things it says, does it raise about creation, life, or destiny? I would say about life, specifically, one, that they're in this movie that they're saying that there's life out there rather than strictly just on Earth. But you notice that they weren't, I think you kind of brought it up, an evil dictator. They weren't they did everything. The aliens did everything that they could to preserve life.
Mhm.
You know, they kept Dave alive and everything after all the stuff that went on. You know, and he let him go back, and he even says, "Hey, it's going to be wonderful. It's a growth of a new life. It's new everything." You know, I mean, they even showed it as with the little baby or the fetus or whatever that they did. Um, that it would be new life and new everything, you know. So I mean, you notice there also the two times that they got shot at, that both of them were just like across the bow. They didn't actually hit the ships. They just were like, you know, hey, well, we're trying to get your attention. I mean, the only thing they blew up was the probe because they knew it was unmanned. Otherwise, I mean, and then still to go back and to visit Roy and be able to say, hey, I'm giving you this much time to get out of here. You know, we want you to survive. We want you to go back and talk to them. So we need you to be alive. To do that, you need to leave now or within the next 24 hours. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was really focused on life.
For sure.
Somebody else.
There's really not that much to add. I really think y'all kind of hit the nail on the head with everything. I'll be honest.
All right, let me go to the next question then. Boom. If it'll come up. There we go. How do the characters express faith, whether in themselves, in others, or in something beyond? I mean, they weren't sure if Dave was alive or dead for the longest time. So, I mean, you had to have some kind of faith that he was still out there, and that the monolith was not
Good.
evil. Yeah, good. So, I mean, you had to have some kind of faith in those, just because if you didn't, I mean, one, it wouldn't have been a good movie, but two, you know, would you strap yourself to a big ship and then fly all the way out there, you know, knowing it's going to take 2 years to get out to Jupiter, and then it's going to take another 2 years to get back. So, and if you have a small child and, you know, what was he, 8? You know, so when you get back, he's going to be a teenager, a full-fledged teenager, you know, and you're leaving mom to deal with that by herself. You know, you got to believe in something.
Yeah. You gotta think. You gotta believe that either Dave was still alive or something was there to see what happened to the ship. They had faith that whatever was there was good, and Dave was still there, or Dave was just there. So they had faith in themselves to find the answers, but yeah, until they got there, they didn't know what was going on until they saw.
I think too, for the main character, I really think there was a little bit, well, not a little bit. I think there was a redemption arc for him as well. When you think about where he was at the very beginning, and this guy who came to see him was really trying to offer him a second chance, and I think that's really kind of how he kind of went about this. It's like, this is my chance to do something. This is my chance to find these people, and just a redemption story for him as well.
Yeah. I think I like that.
I think there's also some faith, humanity as a whole, just in terms of like towards the end, hey, we may be rushing US and they may be going through it on Earth, but we got to survive up here. That way they can survive down there, period. Yep. Otherwise we have problems. So let's actually work together and get this done. I think just that overall faith in humanity, and like, we can overcome this difference right now up here, and we just need to solve this problem. So true. Just again, that idea of faith in humanity.
Yeah, that's very true.
I like that. I mean, it definitely, we could learn from them, you know, just from the interaction between them back and forth. I mean, like for mine, I had closed caption on mine, but it did not give me the Russian what they were saying. I really wish I would have known what they were saying, you know. I think that would have added a lot more to the movie itself. It might have been because I've got the DVD. I bought it this year. So, I mean, it could be on the DVD, and I could have probably slapped it in a DVD player if I have one around here somewhere. Just, I mean, actually, I could put it in my computer, maybe. But I mean, I don't know if that'll actually play it like it's supposed to, or what, who knows. Okay, well, we're at the point. Let's go ahead and Indeed is right, Teal'c. We are going to fix this movie. Well, I'll start since I'm talking. I thought the whole thing with his wife and son almost was unnecessary. Really was. I mean, I think you could have. I thought that part was just way too long. I mean, I thought they could have just been like, oh, hey, I mean, but they wanted to have the montage of him working out and playing with his son, and I get that, but I think they could have done it so much better. When he's doing the voiceover of sending messages back to his wife or whatever, I think it would have been neat to actually see him doing it, so you could have seen the expressions on his face instead of just getting the voiceover of whatever was happening, and you have Roy going, oh well, honey, this is what's happening today. I think it would have been more impactful to see the things that he was going through. And I think maybe if they would have, I don't know. I mean, like the point where the girl comes up and hugs him and holds on to him when they were doing the air braking maneuver or whatever. I was like, what's the point of that? He's married. Why are, you don't speak any English. I just don't get it. You're a cosmonaut. You should not be afraid of this, Things like that are just kind of those little details like that kind of bug me. I almost wanted at the end to have Yoda walk out, because I was like, that kind of reminds me of Dagobah. I was like, that would have been cool. Be like, finally place to live I have now, or something. I mean, I don't know. I would have liked to have fixed the ending. I would have liked to have seen the actual alien, that what it was, whether it be a transformer or, I mean, that the monolith eventually transforms into something, or it melts away and it's a creature or something. I think that would have been a really neat way to end it. So that there is a physical being out there, not just this slab of block, and you don't know what it is.
Yeah, see, I'm actually in full agreement with that last point, so I'll piggyback off of that. I think what this whole series really needs is a true villain, I guess, which I know in the first movie, it's like, okay, Hal's trying to take over, let's fix that. But then again, like, the monoliths are the one controlling a lot of even the influence because of that. And so I would like to see the monolith almost become, another species. Like you said, Dave, maybe transform at the end into something. Now, the other route I might like to see it is, so I really thought Mr. Russian Programmer was either going to be influenced by Hal or was going to be influencing Hal along the way.
Yeah,
and I think I would like to have seen that as a subplot. But yeah, he really didn't do much. It was just like, no, he knows Hal inside and out, so he fixes him and he doesn't really do anything bad. And I was like, okay, I get it. We're trying to go for the whole peaceful route. Like, once I made it to the end, it made more sense. But throughout the film, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of would have liked to have seen maybe Hal was controlling him, because through the process of him training Hal learns who he is and knows how to manipulate him. Or even to the point where maybe even the monolith was actually in charge of the creation of Hal to begin with. Or Hal itself, something along those lines. I think I would have enjoyed a little more. So if I had any fixes, it'd be that, but it'd really have to be series, it'd have to be across both films even for it to really work.
Well, last week when we did Mando and Grogu, we actually had to go back to the series and fix a couple of things from that. Like I mentioned last week, I was like, Grogu should have gone with Luke and actually went and got all of his Force training and then came back to Mando. And because in the movie, it seemed like he used his Force powers, but didn't really do any Mandalorian type stuff. I mean, you saw him put some stuff on for like a minute, and that was it. So, we have no problem going back to the original movie, and you can fix it from here, or a series or whatever. We have no problem with that. So, Shane, Chad, either of you guys got anything to fix?
I agree with John on the subplot with the programmer. You got to think back in the original, you had an engineer that was trying to do that, and it's, I don't know, it's conflicting, and then all of a sudden, you have this one that's either influence, like what John was saying, influence either how or how was influencing him. So
yeah, I just think that I was under the impression when he kept talking to Sal, that was the girl computer, that he was taking her with him, and she and Hal were actually going to like duke it out or something, like she was going to try to program over him and to fix him from internally. And then, see, to me, I think that would have been cool to have them like an internal struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hal makes it sound like Sal is in charge, but really Hal is. And then does something different, nefarious at the end. And then the Monolith people were like, oh, we see what's happening. We're going to give you a little push or something to get your ship out of there, or set off a small explosion behind your ship to catapult you or something, where they see what's going on or something like that. I don't know. It's just, we're just guessing here.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think to kind of go more off of John's point, I think there is something very important about having that visual of what is in the what the alien is, what's in the monolith. Like you're kind of waiting for that, and I think for the ending especially, that would have been something very, very cool to end with, instead of still just wondering,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It was 84. So CGI had been around for a little bit. I mean, at least Tron was. I mean, it could have been something like a Tron was, where it just kind of like it opened up and then an alien stepped out or something, because it said it was seamless or whatever. That's why I think if when was Terminator 2? That was 87 was the first Terminator, right?
yeah,
So technology, they wouldn't have been able to do like they did with T2 with the liquid guy, That would have been really cool to see it all like just, and then something step out. Now, if they were to go back and do a George Lucas special edition, maybe they could add that in there or something. I don't know. That would be pretty funny. That's all the things I've got. Anybody else got any final thoughts? I did enjoy this movie. I really did. I thought it was a decent sequel, and considering it's not the longest, but it was one of, Tron ended up with Tron Legacy ended up becoming the longest sequel out there, or, because the original Tron was 81, then Tron Legacy was what, 2000? It was 30 years. It was 2001 or something. It was 30 years in the making. 2011, I think it was Tron Legacy. So it was like 30 years. This one was 68 to 84. So, it was almost, okay, math. I can't do math. It was over 20 years, right?
68 and 70 is 10.
68 70 is 2. So then add 10 to that. So that'd be 80. And then add 4 to that. So 10 plus 2 plus 4 is 16. Hey, yeah, you can tell it's a late evening. And we're not back in school yet, so it's not like, we're thinking of this stuff on a daily basis or whatever. All right, everyone. Well, until next time.
Oh, yeah.
There it is right there.
Crash and burn.
These Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast that is not affiliated with this movie or TV series. We would love to hear from you. Please contact us by leaving a comment below or by emailing us TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, or share this podcast with someone else who enjoys science fiction.
Subscribe or be vaporized.